So I hope you enjoyed your team building activities. Now we have the last masterclass of this hackathon. This will be provided by Aziza Umarova. She's head of smart growth consulting and expert on several fields. Let us welcome her.
Good morning, everybody. So I've been instructed that I have to speak to you in English, but please do let me know, are you comfortable with the speed, or do you want me to talk more slowly? Are you able to keep up with the pace? Все понимаетесь? Речь идет нормально. Okay, great. So let us start in this case. I'm very excited about your hackathon because I've been told that you are designing some wonderful business ideas, and my job is to spend the next 30 minutes with you, trying to help you with the way you're going to do your pitching today in the evening, right? I hope it will be useful, and let's structure it the following way. I will go through my slides and present you with the basics of presentation, but then we also will spend 7 to 10 minutes for the few questions, analysis that you might have. Yeah, so first of all, I've been through millions of presentations throughout my life on different subjects. And unfortunately, in 95% of cases, they were very, very boring. So it's very important to understand that everybody, every hour, is trying to present you something in one or the other way. But it's not always that your attention is really grabbed and you start listening too carefully. The same with your business pitching today. You have to understand that what you're going to say should really be presented in the way that will be the best communication tool with the panel, the jury panel that will actually select the best ones. So, tip number 1, start by telling very specific problem that you are trying to solve. If you start presenting something without stating the problem you are trying to solve, waste of time, nobody will pay attention. So you have to articulate what exact problem your business idea will be solving in Tashkent, or Uzbekistan, or your neighborhood, or your street, doesn't matter, right? So it's all about being able to understand what exactly you are trying to solve. Because business idea is a problem solving. I can give you an example. Do you know how Uber, and Uber is something that was way before Yandex Taxi or My Taxi. So how Uber was created, do you know? The guy who created Uber, he was not able to successfully get a car, a taxi, because it was raining, and not enough cars for him, so actually he was waiting for 2 hours under the rain. That's how he thought, I have to solve this problem. If I cannot get up by call the taxi, I should create an application that will enable people to quickly connect with the browsing cars and get a taxi. All great ideas start with a problem. And if you're able to find a solution, you have very successful business idea. Second, you've got a problem, you have to tell the story. If you watch, I hope you do, on YouTube, TED Talks. Do you know TED Talks? They always tell the story. So usually it's always men, by the way, very rarely women, they go like this and they start saying about their morning or the personal life or something, and then they get to the point. So instead of just reading, standing like this and reading your points in the PowerPoint, think about how you can make a story. For example, let's assume you come up with a pizza delivery. For example, pizza delivery. Instead of saying, we want to do pizza in Tashkent, you could say that, sometimes parents would like to have a quick birthday party for children. They don't have time, for example, to go, right? That will happen in my life. And pizza delivery would be fantastic for you to celebrate something quickly, right? So you have to come up with a story that will grab attention of people that will be listening to you, that will be very much to the point about reality, about our life grounds. Next point is very important. When you decide how you're going to solve the problem, you should also understand for whom you are solving the problem. There was a guy in Google that became a father. So he was very excited about being the father. His name was Frederick. And he bought for his son toy. He put under the cot, kravatka. Above the cot, he put this. Do you know why baby kept crying?
Because he's so just...
Yeah, so he was not able to see this. Anybody else would like to comment why the baby did not stop crying? Because that's what baby was able to see. You're absolutely right. So the baby didn't see this, because this you would see as a father if you are standing at your height, right? But as a baby, when you look like that and you look up, you see this. Why it's important to understand? Because sometimes it's better to switch your perspective than try, to pretend to be smart. So you always should look from the point of view of people for whom you are making your business idea. You cannot make business idea relevant for everybody in Tashkent, for example, for any human being. No. The problem is usually owned by a specific group of people. You have to understand for whom you are making your business idea. So you have to understand the users, who will tomorrow use your services or your product. If you don't understand the people for whom you are doing this, it will be very difficult to sell your idea. Before you pitch today, try to think who will be using your business project, and talk to those people, maybe at least on the phone. And when you present, you should say that this business idea will be actually, serving the interest of so and so and so people. Young, older, urban, rural, unemployed, educated, office workers. So who are people for whom you're doing? Is it clear? Do you understand? So you've got the problem. You've got people for whom you're doing this. But then you should also think about the beta version, the pilot, right? You don't just go and jump into your project, your business idea. You can think about prototyping, just thinking how that actually would work. Would it be good for the market? So if you are able to show that you thought about piloting version, it's always very good. It makes your presentation even more comprehensive. Usually, it's like testing. You are testing something and you see whether it really makes sense. I can give you an example. One of the restaurant owner, he owns the chain of the restaurants in Tashkent. He brought to our house a frozen samsa with 3 types of flavors. With meat, with vegetables, and with pumpkin, I think. That was his pre-testing. He was prototyping his business idea. I thought it was awful. Because I thought people that really would like to have good samsa, they will go and have it ready-made. They would not go for the frozen one. So basically, he never actually, at the end, made this a proper business idea for the market, because he tried with maybe 20 people. They gave feedback, and basically at the end, he didn't, start this. So it's important to have idea about prototyping, how you're going to actually pilot, test, maybe with a small group of people before you make your big investments. Why it's good? Because with prototyping, you can have much more number of ideas developed. You see, the number compared without prototyping, less number of ideas tested, here more number of ideas tested. They are much slower to fail. These ones are much quicker to fail. You see, quicker to fail, but then also you have higher level of success compared to this. So when you just start something and you don't prototype, you have less success. When you start and you say 1 month is a testing period, I'm trying this and I'm adjusting based on what feedback I'm going to get, you have much higher number of successful cases. I can give you an example. In one of the company in Silicon Valley in California, the team was working on a new gadget. They would make a gadget for people who are about 50 years old that will be putting here. So like older generation here and as well in the US, they for some reasons like to put things in the pocket. The pocket usually is here, chest. So basically they developed the whole concept. Again, you have to be paying attention. So they said for elderly, about 50 years old, so male, they present everything, and then CEO said, I want you to make for me, from the wood, because it's light, size of your gadget, and I'm going to wear it 1 month. The CEO of the company made them to make the gadget the same size, and he put in his pocket, and he basically was wearing. So he would be testing this, the user experience, what people are feeling when they're using the gadget. He would wear 1 month, then he said, no, we don't want to do it. Why? Anybody knows? Why the company didn't want at the end to launch this product?
Maybe it wasn't convenient. Maybe it wasn't convenient.
Yes, it wasn't convenient, exactly. Why do you think it was not convenient? No. Think. By the way, I realized the most active ones are girls. In this room, no men, no boys. Available for any responses? Heavy, yes. Heavy one. And second, he would always see it falling down when he was trying to make any movements. Yes, so it was always falling down. So basically, without investing too much money to test the product, to introduce the product to the market, the CEO was very smart and he realized people would not buy it because he would always, make it fall down and it's also heavy and it's not very convenient. So he said, no, it's not a good idea, we don't do it. That's important to think about piloting and testing and make it really down to earth. Next one, this case I like very much. At some point, McDonald's showed, raise your hands who tried McDonald's because we don't have McDonald's at home. It's only. So it's nothing actually special, but for some reason it's super popular company around the world. Wherever you go, you usually find McDonald's. They thought, why don't we introduce pasta? Because people like pasta and would like to try pasta. Can you imagine how much it would cost for the company to introduce pasta into menu? Because you have to do what? Tell me. What do you have to do if you want to introduce? New supplies. Reprint all your menus. Change all your recipes, right? What else? Packages, everything changes. You cannot put pasta in the same place where you put your burgers. Yes, marketing is expensive. So everything, it was so expensive. So what the company decided, and it's a real case, they said, in the testing cities, they put on a banner that they introduced pasta, and they asked people at the cashier office to note down how many people ordered pasta, spaghetti, and then apologize. They do not have it available, and just give them some present or just apologize, that's it, for 1 month. So instead of putting so much effort and money into physical introduction of the new pasta in the menu, they lied. They said, yes, we have pasta. In reality, they didn't do anything. They didn't have any pasta. But they wanted to document that actually people really want this pasta. If they order. So after 1 month, they just realized nobody comes to eat pasta to spaghetti to McDonald's. Nobody wants it. Because they have other places to go and eat proper pasta. So it was a very stupid idea to introduce it. They never introduced it. They said, no, we don't do it. But they've tried, right? So it's a very interesting approach. Again, in Uzbekistan, people who spend so much money and fail and they just go bankrupt. Sometimes you can be much smarter than this. So think about your project. Really make it as a response to the problem that you have to articulate the problem. That's the problem, the first slide. That's how we're going to, solve the problem. But then also think about whether you will be able to do it and how, or maybe pre-testing is needed. Usually pre-testing is 1 month. 30 days for testing is fine for pilots. So usually when you have the pre-testing, you are able to get responses to these questions. Do people really want your business idea? Do they need it? Will they use it? Will it be important for them? Will it change anything? Will they like it more than anything else? Or not? How that should work? Sometimes, for example, companies like Samsung, Apple, all big technical giants, they all use testing because they want to see whether people find useful the way it's done. Where to click, what to use. So they're having this pre-testing phase to understand what the people are comfortable with using, for example, the application, the gadget, the service, the product. Will people enjoy the user experience with your product? And do they understand where to click? And please be open to experiment. Don't stick to existing ideas. Don't steal ideas. Try to come up with your own, business project that will be interesting and unique. What should be included in your presentation? You have to at least tentatively understand the figures. How many people will be able to use it? How much money they will be willing to pay to use it? Elements of the business plan. Do you know what business plan is? How much you're going to invest, how much you're going to get. And in how many years, or months, or days. You understand, right? Problem, solution. What is your market? Where your product will be used? In Tashkent, in Navoy, in Andijan, everywhere in the country? In Tashkent, in several neighborhoods? What exactly you are offering? What is unique selling points? Why your product will be better than the others? Finance, tentatively. Nobody expects you to come up with a super business plan, but at least some understanding. You have to demonstrate, you have understanding how much you're investing, how much you hope to get. And technology, if you do something with technology, if not, then not. And last but not the least, apart from what you're going to put, it's also important how you present. Unfortunately, it's not something that is being taught in the schools in our country. So you may have some anxiety and you may not be very confident. Okay, raise a hand who are confident in presentation skills. 4, 5, good. So think in your teams who could be the most confident person, and then send the most confident person to the mirror, because they have to train before they come out here. They have to train and train and train and practice and practice and practice. So the team should be represented by, of course, the whole composition, all members will come up, but the presentation should be done in a very confident way. You have to be able to sell. It's even called elevator pitch, right? So like in 11 seconds you're supposed to sell your idea. You have to be super confident, you have to, lean back and be, demonstrating your belief that your business idea is really the best. You can actually walk freely, like this. You don't have to be stuck there. You can walk, you can ask questions to the audience, you can, nod positively. Try to actually really practice it. Spend half an hour in front of the mirror, or ask for feedback from your team members, but try to really polish your presentation so that you are able to present it in a very compelling way. The people like it. When you will be my age, almost 40, it will be peanuts for you. It will be very easy. But of course, now you're very young. You may again find it quite challenging, but that's absolutely fine. Don't worry. You just have to practice a bit, everything will be okay. That's it. That's it for you. You can just take notes for yourself. The structure, elements of your presentation that you shouldn't forget. Problem statement, what problem you're trying to solve. Solution that you're providing. So who will be using it? Who is your market? Who will use your product or service? Competition, so who potentially will be your competitors on the market? What is your unique selling proposition? What exactly you are, providing that is unmatchable at the moment. Some very basic, very rough work plan and finance. And now we move to questions and answers.
So, you said that it's better to use stories, etc. But in our case, we have just 5 minutes and we need to open that much. How are we gonna do this? We will let air.
You are not obliged to put everything there. That's just more like a guidance. You can make it shorter if you wish. But what is important, don't overload presentation slides with too many text. Think what you want to mention. And don't stand like this and reading your text. People will be able to read. So actually you can still combine it. For example, what is your business idea?
Healthy eating and food planner application.
Yeah, so when I'm saying about the story, you don't have to go into much detail, but saying that, it's so difficult to lose weight and you're not always, able to walk 10,000 steps a day. So basically that's idea that is like, I'm struggling with my weight the whole life. So it's something that you can always wrap in some personal emotions and feelings, just as a good warm-up, an introduction. It required me 4 seconds, so it shouldn't be a big deal to fit it, right? Think about presenting this in a more kind of human-oriented, human-faced manner. Any more questions? Yes?
About one language. As we know, we can see that how people looking for you, it means that they are interested in you some more in the tactics which we can identify that they are interested in our project. How we can do it?
For example, what is your business idea? What is your business project about?
For example, learning center, for example.
Huh?
For example, learning center. And I should know are people interested in my product.
Okay, so learning center, right?
And,
What exactly learning center will be teaching? Do you have any idea?
yes, they will teach students to prepare to university.
Okay, you basically responded already to your question. The market and people that will be served, for whom you are doing this, I assume graduates from the school. You just Google how many graduates Uzbekistan got this year, and you will see that it's more than 600,000 people. So your potential market is those who are willing to, go to university. You just look the statistics from the last year, and it's all available online now because everything has been more or less published for the last 3-4 years. You will see how many people try to go to university. So you will have an estimate. So those graduates that are willing to continue education are potentially your market. That's it. That's very simple. Any more questions? Do you want to ask anything about your business projects? Do you enjoy?
Yeah, that was a relation.
I have a question. So today, during participants have a final presentation, and yesterday they said that it's very important to have good impression.
Well, usually people are, having jokes prepared for the first impression, and they also you have to be smiling. You have to, have these vibes, positive vibes, and show that you are confident that your idea is the best. So when you are confident, people will also believe. Think about joke. It's called camp opener, like at Kravashka, right? So something that will be, the first initial minutes. Don't be afraid. The judges are the same as you. They're all human beings. But really work on your project beforehand and assign a person to present that again is capable to do this task. Don't be shy. Everything will be fine. You're welcome. Good. So with this, I would like to wish you all the best this hackathon. I also hope to see all of you as students. You've all applied, right, for university? I hope that after hackathon, after seeing the environment and the current students, fantastic students, you will be even more convinced that that's the right place for you to study. I can tell you one thing before I give up the microphone to colleagues. The university takes so many years for people that if you really waste these years, it's almost impossible to catch up. I'm almost 40. I still meet people, and I know exactly that some of them were really studying in a very poor universities. They wasted 4 years of their lives, and until now it has implication. People are not very competent. They don't have right ethics. They were not trained and disciplined to study. They wasted time. They got diploma that they never used, basically. And at the contrary, you meet people and you see they're more or less, very good caliber. That's because they were properly trained and, taught at the university. So it's important to choose a place that have combination of two. First is good teachers that will really make you study. That's important. But second is a place where you will be able to develop your best passions, your competencies will thrive. The place where you will come as an input, but as an output you will be much more stronger as a professional than when you came. The Team University is one of these places. Because if you come to bad universities, you just spend 3 years or 4 years of your life, it's such a waste that unfortunately you will not be able to compensate for it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in this university, and I hope that with your ambition, with your energy, with your professional goals, you will be able to achieve the most of you. All the best.